We have now a government in place in Trinidad and Tobago, and the first order of business is boots on the ground and get to work. We have a lot of work to do. So I look forward to working for all of you. I look forward for us working together, because in everything that we do, there is you. That is why we are UNC. So God bless you, and I thank you very much. Have a blessed day.
Trinidad and Tobago's political landscape has just been rocked by a game-changing event. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, the former Prime Minister, has made an incredible comeback with a landslide victory in the 2025 parliamentary elections. With the UNC reclaiming power after a decade of PNM rule, the stakes are high and the country is set for a significant shift. In this video, we dive into what Kamla's return means for the future of Trinidad and Tobago, from tackling the nation's escalating crime problem to revitalizing a battered economy and navigating complex international relations. What's next for this Caribbean nation under new leadership? Let's find out. Kamla Persad-Bissessar's return to political leadership comes at a time of national uncertainty and a crisis for Trinidad and Tobago. Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar led the UNC to a sweeping victory as the party won 25 seats out of 41 in the national parliament, with the previously ruling People's National Movement (PNM) party winning just 14 seats. Facing challenges of economic instability, high crime, and public security, the UNC has promised to bring back renewal and stability to the country. In her 2025 election campaign, Kamla reiterated her party's promises of people-centered policies that will benefit everyone and offering immediate economic relief and strengthening social welfare systems. During her campaign, Persad-Bissessar promised to raise wages for public sector workers who have been struggling to meet rising costs of living. Echoing a promise from her last premiership run, Persad-Bissessar committed the UNC to creating over 50,000 new jobs to tackle unemployment and stimulate economic growth, alongside protecting pensions for senior citizens and expanding social safety nets. She also vowed to reopen the Children's Hospital and provide laptops to school children, showcasing her focus on healthcare access and educational support for the nation's youth, ensuring no one will be left behind. Recognizing Trinidad and Tobago's reliance on natural gas, Persad-Bissessar's platform has promised significant changes to the industry and has committed to backing away from many of the plans developed under the previous government. She has explicitly stated that her government will not honor any refinery deals signed by the previous administration, particularly the controversial sale of the Point-a-Pied refinery to Nigerian-based Oando plc, describing the deal as corrupt and politically motivated. The administration has committed to developing new natural gas reserves to bolster its energy resilience, while investing in renewable and greener energy at the same time. However, possibly the boldest and most important commitment from the UNC comes in relation to tackling the scourge of crime in the country. With crime rates at historic highs, Persad-Bissessar made public safety a cornerstone of her campaign, promising decisive action to reduce homicides and gang violence. Growing gang violence and illegal small arms inflows from the United States and Venezuela have taken hold of the country, prompting a 3-month state of emergency declared by the PNM. In her speech to voters, she recommitted herself to bringing stand-your-ground laws forward, as well as legislation on the right to bear arms to give citizens a fighting chance against criminals. She has also vowed to establish a special agricultural court to address predial larceny, reiterated her commitment to improving security resources to frontline policing, and holding public officials accountable for improvements in public safety. By the way, if you are enjoying this video so far, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. But it's important to note that with all the claims, there are challenges ahead. As Trinidad and Tobago embarks on a new chapter under Kamla Persad-Bissessar's leadership, the country is set to face a complex array of issues that will test the resilience of its institutions and the effectiveness of its new government. The biggest challenge is the crime and security issues in the country. The nation recently endured its deadliest year on record, with over 600 homicides in 2024, translating to a staggering rate of 45.7 murders per 100,000 people, placing Trinidad and Tobago among the top 5 most violent countries in Latin America and the Caribbean. Gang violence has also been at its peak. But with all this, the public remains wary of heavy-handed security measures, especially after the previous administration's declaration of a state of emergency raised serious civil liberties concerns. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, however, has pledged a tougher stance on crime, including creating new ministries of defense and justice to tackle the escalating issue head-on. There are also significant economic challenges that lie ahead for Trinidad and Tobago, as the country contends with a historical decline in major industries. The country's heavy reliance on the oil and gas sector is facing both structural decline and international competition. The oil and gas sector accounted for about 51% of government revenue in 2023, underscoring its critical role in national finances. It also contributes significantly to GDP, exports, and foreign exchange earnings, with the energy sector representing over 35% of GDP and nearly 80% of exports. Trinidad and Tobago is the largest natural gas producer in the Caribbean, with production averaging over 3.3 billion standard cubic feet per day. The country exports to major markets like the USA, Spain, and China. Despite its historic strength, the sector faces challenges from declining natural gas production and oil output. The energy sector contracted by 5.6% in 2023, with an estimated further 15% drop in oil revenue projected for 2025. This reduction not only comes from a shift away from fossil fuels, but also growing competition from emerging producers like Guyana, which has rapidly expanded its oil and gas sector in recent years to become one of the fastest growing economies in the world. The sharp decline in global energy prices since the mid-2010s has led to a prolonged economic slowdown and fiscal strain. Fiscal imbalances have become a pressing concern as government revenues heavily reliant on energy earnings continue to drop. This has pushed public debt to rise to over 60% of GDP, narrowing the fiscal space available for a Persad-Bissessar administration to spend. This vulnerability is compounded by foreign exchange shortages and a weakening currency, which have eroded purchasing power and increased the cost of living for ordinary citizens, since much of the country's foreign currency comes from oil and gas exports. While in recent years, the PNM government has initiated fiscal consolidation measures such as tax reforms, subsidy reductions, and public expenditure reviews to stabilize finances, progress has been slow, and the country still has a long way to go. Finally, on the international stage, the country must tread carefully and is likely to take a very different approach to the previous PNM government. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar prioritizes relations with the United States, particularly for security cooperation and economic support. She was one of the first political leaders in the region to vocalize support for President Donald Trump when she condemned the previous Democratic administration under Joe Biden, calling out the administration's woke agenda as a disaster for the American people and the world. This might give her an advantage when navigating regional tensions, particularly with Venezuela, and leveraging new security agreements with the US. However, with Trump tariffs ever looming and military aggression from Venezuela, the path ahead will be challenging for the leader. Kamla Persad-Bissessar's decisive win in the April 2025 parliamentary elections marks a significant turning point for Trinidad and Tobago, ending a decade of People's National Movement rule and returning the country's first female prime minister to office for a second term. Campaigning on public outrage over the state of Trinidad and Tobago, her landslide victory reflects widespread public demand for change amid escalating crime rates, economic challenges, and shifting geopolitical dynamics. Promising much change for the people of Trinidad and Tobago is easy. However, Persad-Bissessar faces the formidable tasks of reducing the nation's record-high crime and revitalizing a struggling energy sector. The outlook for Trinidad and Tobago under her leadership hinges on an immediate change of action, led by prudent policy and the rebuilding of public trust. As Kamla Persad-Bissessar steps back into power, Trinidad and Tobago stands at a crossroads, facing both unprecedented challenges and promising opportunities. The road ahead may be tough, but with a renewed vision and bold leadership, the country has the chance to rebuild, restore stability, and reclaim its place on the global stage. What do you think? Can Kamla Persad-Bissessar deliver on her bold promises, especially when it comes to tackling crime and revitalizing the economy? Do you believe her aggressive approach to crime will bring the change Trinidad and Tobago desperately needs? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take on what's next for this Caribbean nation. Also, check out our video on 10 reasons why you should invest in the Caribbean. If you find this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth discussions on the latest news and updates. Hit the notification bell so you'd never miss a video. This is Caribbean Focus, and we'll see you in the next video.